Okay, chat, let's get into YouTube mode. Big developments in the world of Street Fighter 6. So listen, I reported on this event happening 9 months ago about Street Fighter cheaters hitting the ranked scene because this was a big development at the time. You know, I feel like fighting games really didn't have too many cheaters because there wasn't too much glory to go for. You know, in other genres, I feel like this is a really big problem. There's a lot of anti-cheat and a lot of measures in the games themselves to prevent people from gaming the system by hacking the game and making the game miserable for others to artificially inflate people's ranks. That just really didn't exist in the past to a large degree, just because people didn't really care about online ranks in fighting games and they just weren't popular, but they did exist. And in this video, I detailed some old cheats in Street Fighter history, which included people using like tool-assisted things to, you know, game the system and have basically half bots, half scripted gameplay. But it started to become a thing in the Street Fighter 6 ranked scene, which is more nefarious because, you know, the netcode is actually good in Street Fighter 6 and people actually care about their online rank, especially the MR rank after you reach master rank. So running into a ranked cheater when you're a high ranked player it kind of sucks. It actually impacts your experience, and you actually care about that number next to your name to some degree. So it became a much more difficult thing to accept by the community and became a bigger stink on Twitter. And it's a real thing at this time. People weren't exactly sure if the cheats were legit or not, but we had proof from certain forums where we saw these cheats being advertised. Here we have someone actually trying to sell their cheats with features like auto counter throw, auto counter DI, dynamic controls in online, where you just start mashing the buttons and then the game basically takes over AI and figures out what to do based on the situation. You can see basically they use scripting and input reading to have perfect reactions to things with perfect timing, frame perfect timing that shouldn't be possible by a real human in a real match, basically playing like a CPU in a real match and just cheating the system. And we saw these exploits used in European ranks. So you see here from Kieran, this is what I demoed in that previous video. This is a match with Akainu, one of the top Guile players in the world, top French player for a long time, going up against this unknown Juri player. And you see interesting back-to-back perfect parries right there. Every low forward he pressed was instantly perfect parried into a counter here by the Juri player, and that seemed a little suspicious at first, but then it gets worse. You know, perfect counters there. What was that perfect parry right there? Like it starts building up more and more as the rounds go on. You can see that almost every time Akainu tries to mount any offense, he just eats a perfect parry, and it just shuts down any momentum he has. So it becomes clear that this isn't just a regular human. It's a kind of an assisted human. So the boom pairing is a little weird that it wasn't perfect, but you can see coming up soon more perfect parries again. Just really suspicious perfect parry timings. And so the suspicion and the paranoia started to mount in the scene. You know, whenever someone was perfect parrying too well, it started to feel like, hey, what's going on here? Are you just guessing correctly? Are you hot right now, or are you cheating, right? And so you saw that from everywhere, from legend rank to bronze. The floodgates had busted open, and the distrust was paramount in the community. No one trusted anyone. If you get too many DI counters and too many perfect parries in a row, people will accuse you of cheating, and it really just kind of put a damper on the mood in the community. But for the most part, what I noticed is that this was primarily relegated to the European ranked community. In fact, I would say that I don't know if I had ever personally experienced a person using these kind of scripts and exploits in my ranked adventures. And for the most part, all the videos and evidence I'd seen had been from European server players dealing with cheaters in the European region. It's been 9 months ago, so has Capcom stepped up and addressed this issue? Have they implemented any kind of fix to tone down the effectiveness of these exploits, ban these offending players? Well, here's an update from Bolt Strike a couple days ago. Played 3 ranked sets, 2 of them versus cheaters. EU ranked has never been worse. I'm not even sure how Capcom can fix this. So no, it's just gotten worse. It's just gotten worse. And it's been a consistent problem over the past, 9 months that Broski has basically taken up the mantle of being like the investigator of the cheaters in EU ranked. He has several videos about dealing with cheaters over the months. You know, he keeps investigating different accounts to figure out who this brand new high ranked player who's so godlike out of nowhere beating established players. Turns out they're all cheating. It got so bad that he even made a guide on how to beat cheating, detailing his latest adventurers versus a cheater in ranked and figuring out how to exploit their auto reaction scripts to his advantage to win the sets. So yeah, it's just been a really consistent problem. And Broski here finds another one. Didn't you have to work hard to find an exploitable hole in this script? Literally just neutral jump air normal from full screen, and this stupid thing tries to perfect parry. So here he is against another cheater in ranked. Jump button, parry attempt, jump button, parry attempt. So basically the player base has gotten creative at finding exploits to deal with these perfect input reading reactions. So a lot of times these scripts are reading the inputs from the opponent, and then they have some kind of macroed reaction in response to this, and they're not always perfect, right? So this one is supposed to be an auto perfect parry. It's trying to react with parry at the right time based on the button pressed and get a perfect parry. Here it's just wasting his bar, will eventually put him into burnout. It's not just the auto perfect parry. This Bison is cheap fella on the same day went up against M2 Cloud here. M2 Cloud says this clown had his throw tech cheat set to jump. Man, I'm so done with this. So this is the same, it's a different name, but it's the same user code. So this is the same cheater that M2 Cloud is going up against. Every time M2 Cloud goes for a throw, he jumps. So not only is this fella using scripts to cheat in ranked, he's too stupid to cheat properly. Jumping when someone throws is not the answer. The throw will recover in time, and you will get an anti-air every single time. So this is just embarrassing at this point. To be cheating and to be too stupid to even cheat correctly is just shameful at that point. So with a little bit of careful experimentation rounds, a lot of players are going up against these blatant cheaters and figuring out as they go the best ways to deal with it. And so this one was just super funny. This is the same cheater, so he has the user code here. And the weird thing is, the guy doesn't get banned. Broski and M2 Cloud here, they post the user codes, they report the accounts, and they're just still running amok in ranked. It's very strange how Capcom has just been silent on the issue and basically doesn't proceed to deal with these players whatsoever. They often change their display name, so you might not know who you're going up against, but the user code is what remains the same. And they last for a long time. I believe previous accounts may have gotten banned, but it takes a really long time for these accounts to actually have anything dealt with. And yeah, you can see with their playtime, very little playtime overall, and then rocketing up in the master rate ranks. They're always brand new accounts that end up just ranking up really quick because they're cheating. But for a while, all these reports were coming from people in Europe. I figured, okay, this sucks, but you know what? Us here in USA and NA, we're safe. But unfortunately to say, the bots have crossed the pond. Safe here, our Canadian overlord, in Toronto here, said, figured out this loser was cheating and used their script against them to still win. I challenge anyone, you cannot find this replay or any replay with this person. Look at the replay code, user code, it's all available, but all searches come out empty. Replay purge hack. So not only did Safe go up against a cheater, he is proposing here that this cheater might also be using other exploits to prevent people from looking up replays of them cheating. So I can't really verify if this is true or not, but they can't even look up replays. However, Fanto here was eventually able to pull up the replay. And, the funny part is Safe doesn't even talk about the game itself, but then Fanto actually shows the game. He links to it in a YouTube video, and I can't believe Safe didn't detail what happened in the game because this replay is hilarious. So let's go ahead and watch this replay of Safe versus this cheater, and I think it's so funny. So starts off kind of normal, weird risky opening from the Cami player, no punish on the drive reversal, and then immediately goes back into another hooligan grab. So like bad punishes, bad offensive risky strategies right off the bat. So kind of a weird play for someone with 2070 MR. That's really highly ranked. And there we see the first suspicious activity. As soon as he goes into run step kick, there's an immediate DI reaction from the Cami player, which seems oddly precise. Hard call out. You can't really react that fast because he could just do empty run into nothing. DI there is very suspicious to say the least. As soon as the next round starts, run step kick, immediate DI again. So if you actually go through it, we can see here with each one of these DIs, it's very quick after the heavy kick is pressed. So Safe is in the run right now if you go frame by frame. So here's 1 frame of heavy kick, 2 frames, DI comes out. And the first one, I believe, was on frame 4. The DI comes out. exactly a few frames after the heavy kick is pressed before you can visually see anything, DI comes out. You know, a lot of cans will do empty run into throw or something that just beats DI and it's not going to be punished by DI. So you don't react to the run with DI ever. That's not a thing you do, especially not at 2000 plus MR. So, you know, godlike reactions, godlike reads. Well, yeah, well, let's see. So Safe eats this one, and I think this is where like the gears start turning in Safe's head, because this guy is a genius when it comes to Street Fighter 6, and there you see it. I think it's finally clicked what's going on here, and you see the adaptation from Safe. Immediate run step kick into level 1. He's like, okay, wait a minute, I figured something out. And then look, he does it again immediately. I think this was accidentally a block string. The run fierce into the drive rush fierce into the run step kick. I'm not exactly sure if that's a block string or not, but it might have been so that the DI doesn't come out. But you see here on the inputs, yeah, it was a block string. Look, on the inputs, he does run step kick again. Run step kick in a block string. 1 frame, 2 frame, 3 frame, 4 frame, 5 frame. The DI is input on the Cammy side here. So he did a block string, so there wasn't a gap for the DI to come out. I think Safe was thinking that there would be a gap here. So he cancels into the level 1. So the DI should have come out. But look, the Cammy player is so whack at 2000 MR that he blocked a super and doesn't punish it. He doesn't punish it. This is like Street Fighter 101. You block the super, you punish it. You do that at bronze rank. You know, at least throw. Do something. Do something. Much less at 2070 MR. So here they resume their normal gameplay. He's in burnout, so there's no real threat of auto DI here. So Safe goes to work. That was a really suspicious whiff punish. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there was something up with this one. So that stand fierce, it looked a little inorganic, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that didn't look right. Perfect spacing on this and perfect whiff punishing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're not reacting in 8 frames. You're not reacting in 8 frames. So that's auto whiff punish right there for sure. Unless he's predicting that, which would be kind of a high level spacing awareness. But, you know, I think that's just a cheat right there. And then what is this? This script is bad. This is jab to medium into level 3 on block for no reason. Safe gets the punish here. And then, you know, in true Safe fashion, I think he decides to troll a little bit. He tests the throw tech, definitely auto throw tech. Little teabag there, just send the message home that he knows what's going on, and then auto DP through. So Safe is, at this point, he's playing with this food a little bit. He's trying to understand, speak the language of the bot here. Yeah, instant air throw. There's definitely not a human reaction right there. And the bot can't help it. The script can't help it. It's going to DI every time, so he's just doing run step kick into level 1 to break the DI automatically every time at this point. And every time he's doing stand fierce, the ODDP is coming out automatically as well. So this is definitely some inorganic gameplay. And look at, wait, hold on, look at this throw tech. So this was a very interesting throw tech here. So Safe goes for a defensive throw tech, and the Cammy player wasn't doing offensive throw. Walks back for 8 frames, and then techs the throw. So that, to me, seemed kind of strange. That was definitely not a natural tech situation. So, kind of scrapping it out. Not too much the script can do when you're in burnout, actually. But of course, as soon as he does run step kick, it immediately does DI again. And at this point, DI, it can't help it. The script isn't smart enough to realize that absorbing the step kick would just kill itself. Super funny match right there. Blatant cheaters have made it to NA ranked. You know, it's just very sad that we see this level of exploitation going on in ranked, and Capcom has been really silent on the issue and hasn't even proposed any kind of solution or any kind of mechanism to report these players more efficiently to get anything done. But, you know, I'm not sure what they can do. Maybe they can try to get some machine learning in there to scan these replays and figure things out. But they need to do something, because the problem has been growing since this has begun 9 months ago. And, you know, what are they going to do? Let this grow to the point where eventually it's, you know, Skynet and we got Terminator versus Terminator in ranked, and it's just bots fighting each other? Well, that's already happened. We've already reached that point. M2 Cloud here. We got cheater versus cheater before GTA 6. I'm fucking dead. The bots have, they've taken over, man. It's over. We have cheater versus cheater going on. Auto text for days, auto perfect parries. This is a ranked match. This is a ranked match. This is already happening. And then here's part 2 to see more of this match. It's just like deja vu. It's the same round again. Just a couple of Daigos going at it. So we have reached that point in Street Fighter 6 where literally cheaters are trying to rob each other for the fake points here. And, you know, it's not a great look for the Street Fighter community. At this point, it's only affecting a small number of players, because essentially these cheaters tend to kind of float to the top of the MR range. And what happens is when you are a very high MR ranked player, due to also like the limited matchmaking regionality, which is still another issue that Capcom hasn't fully addressed, the fact that the matchmaking restrictions are way too severe and it's not really implemented correctly. You're kind of restricted to certain regions rather than just going by ping filtering. So what happens is you reach a certain high rank, you end up fighting a very small pool of players. So what happens is for these high ranked players in these regions, they end up fighting only 10 different players in any session, and now 10% of them, 20% of them happen to be cheaters. It really impacts heavily the experience of a very small percentage of the player base. So it's not necessarily like this is like every match for the average player at, you know, the bronze to master rank level or is going to be dealing with this, but it's really impacting a small percentage of the player base really hard. But I brought this up also with the first video I did on the cheating. What's really nefarious about this is we have a $1 million tour going on, and the vast majority of the qualifiers come from online tournaments. You know, Capcom Pro Tour has, I believe, 48 qualifiers for this season. Only 10 of them come from offline. That means 38 players are qualifying through the World Warrior program online. While the cheaters we saw today are very, very bad and very, very stupid. Look, they can't even properly cheat. They don't even understand the game well enough to use their exploits effectively. But we see the demonstration of scripts that are able to auto perfect parry, auto DI, and things of that nature. Now, I'm not saying that anyone who is an established player will automatically do this. However, we have seen in other competitive fields and in other sports, it happens. Strong players sometimes resort to cheating to get the edge over the competition. We have seen this since the beginning of competition itself, since the beginning of, you know, sports competition in the physical realm and in esports. Speedrunning, all kinds of esports competitions, there has been cheating in every competition throughout time. If Capcom can't really get control of this, there is a real risk of it coming out that a player ends up qualifying to Capcom Cup by, you know, just slightly seasoning their game a little bit. You know, just sprinkle and crank the DI script, the auto parry script, to do it like maybe like 5-6% of the time, right? Something where it's not so obviously detectable to the human eye that it is assisted by some kind of cheats. Because look, let's face it, perfect parry already feels random with real people. Sometimes people perfect parry you and you're like, what the hell, why were you mashing parry there, right? It already feels random. Now imagine a really strong player who just sprinkles in a script for it to do it for them automatically a small percentage of the time to give them a slight edge over the competition. Or they have a counter DI thing where it only counter DIs in situations where they would have humanly been able to react, and not something that's so obvious to the eye, but something that covers their bases where they don't have to focus on DI. Instead, they can focus on taking the throw, anti-airing, all the other aspects, and remove the mental stack of DI coverage from, you know, their options and have the script handle it for them some of the time, right? It sets a really bad tone for the season when we see these exploits going on in ranked. And like I said, I don't think that necessarily this will happen. It's just something to consider. and something that I think the confidence of the player base would be improved by if Capcom would address this, or at least offer some sort of solution, or at least say they're looking into it, right? Capcom has been dead silent about it, and I think it sets a really bad look. And for a lot of players, they can't even play online right now. They can't play ranked, the main mode they would use for matchmaking. So it's not a good look. So Capcom definitely needs to step up and do something. I'm not sure what the solution fully is, but I feel like at least some communication would be ideal. To let people know that they're aware of the problem, right? I think being radio silent on things like this tends to make the problems worse, because it inspires anxiety in the player base. So hopefully we see some news, some action from Capcom soon, and hopefully all these cheaters get their CFNs banned and they're permanently removed from the community forever. All right, guys, that's all I had for this video. Let me know what you think about the Street Fighter 6 exploits in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.